A second prison break at the same Mississippi facility in just the span of 5 weeks. Yesterday, two inmates, Michael Lewis and Joseph Spring, unaccounted for during the morning head count at Raymond Jail, which is just outside the city of Jackson. Now, Lewis captured about 6 miles from the facility only hours later, while Spring is still on the run. Their escapes coming about a month after 4 other inmates broke out of this same facility. 2 of those detainees were eventually caught. Another was killed in a shootout with authorities, and the 4th found dead in New Orleans. All of this coming less than a year after a U.S. district judge ordered a rare takeover of this jail, finding that deficiencies in supervision and staffing led to, quote, a stunning array of assaults as well as deaths. So joining us now to talk about this latest breakout is Sheriff Tyree Jones. Sheriff Jones, thank you so much for taking the time with us today. First, let's talk about this latest breakout. What is the latest on the search for Spring? Is there any idea where Joseph Spring could be?
Yes, ma'am. We are following up on several tips that we have been receiving regarding his possible whereabouts. At this particular time, there has not been any confirmation of exactly where he may be, but we are getting several tips about his location. And some of those tips are still nearby here in the local area as well. So their search is still ongoing, and we're still asking the public or anyone with any information regarding his whereabouts to provide that information to either the Hinds County Sheriff's Office or their nearest local law enforcement agency as well.
Well, Sheriff, I think, everybody, when you hear breakout, you automatically worry, particularly if you happen to live in that area. How dangerous is Spring? Is the surrounding public at risk with him still on the loose?
Well, anytime you have an escaped detainee from a correctional facility or a jail, they should always be deemed as a danger to society because, of course, they have escaped. They are desperate to be back in society, and they have found a way to compromise the safety and integrity of that institution to be back on the street. So they should be considered dangerous. Well, he should be considered dangerous at this particular time. We don't have any information at the time that he escaped, of course, that he was armed, but there could always be a possibility as well.
So, Sheriff, we heard about that report, deficiencies in supervision and staffing. So the obvious question here, how and why does another escape happen at this facility just weeks after those 4 other inmates escaped?
So Hinds County had been under a long-standing consent decree for many years. I've been in office for about 16 or 17 months after being elected after a special election. So I'm the 4th elected sheriff that has had to address these long-standing issues. And some of the issues stem from the physical plant itself. Since its inception, when the jail was built back in the 1990s, there were several deficiencies that were noted shortly after the jail was fully constructed. And what has happened over a period of time, it has continued to deteriorate. We do face staffing issues, which I'm sure there are several other institutions throughout the United States that are facing staffing issues as well. So as you know, there was a takeover that was ordered last year by the federal judge. And of course, it was appealed, and that appeal is still pending in the 5th Circuit Court of Appeals today. So we're still waiting on that decision. But as of now, we are still in control and operating our facility.
Well, Sheriff, I have to say I have absolute respect for you addressing this head on. You are willing to speak to media outlets. This is my first time speaking with you, but I know a few weeks ago you spoke to some of my colleagues here on NewsNation Now. But how do we stop this from happening again? How do we stop you from being on NewsNation to talk about another escapee in the coming weeks or days?
You're absolutely right. And first of all, transparency is always key to me. I believe that the people should know exactly some of the situations that we're facing. Not only that, some of this is on record in federal court, as well as other courts as well, regarding some of the issues and deficiencies that we've been facing with our staff, as well as the physical plant over several years as well. We are in the process now of building a new facility. But of course, it takes a year and a half, 2 years to have the first phase of that facility fully constructed and erected. So until then, we have to continue to operate out of the jail that we're operating out of now. And first and foremost, it's going to cost money to be able to make some of the necessary repairs. And it's going to cost money to be able to provide more security measurements as well. So it's not just within the office of the sheriff. We need other people that are responsible for budget and monetary issues to come to the table to be able to provide us some relief from their leadership perspective as well, to help us continue to navigate through the process that we're currently in this situation that we're currently in, and efforts to be able to get rid of this as well.
Well, we certainly hope that you and your officers, your deputies, are in fact able to find this latest escapee. Hinds County Sheriff Tyree Jones, we certainly thank you so much for your time.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.